Before we begin, I want to let you guys know that this will contain spoilers of the original Final Fantasy VII from 1997, so I don't recommend watching this past this point if you do not want to get spoiled. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Looney Bin. My name is Looney, and look, I shaved. Apparently look younger, even though I don't think I do. But hey, you know what? It was about time I shaved, so it's the new year, time to shave. And yeah, so let's talk more about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is very close to basically arriving in the palm of our hands, or digitally, depending on how you're buying it. And there's still a lot we don't know. There's still a lot we can talk about, specifically from all the interviews we have been getting from Game Informer, from the producer, from the director, from the creative director, and everyone else who's involved with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth project. Honestly, just so excited. I'm excited to just get my hands on that game because I just cannot wait to experience Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that world again. It's going to be so amazing. What I want to talk about today was something very specific. There's been some, people talking about how Kitase might have gotten rid of or changed a scene that many people wanted to experience in high definition, and it caused some people to be quite upset with Kitase. Now, that's not to say he doesn't, make some good decisions. There have been countless times where he has made good decisions, such as in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where in Chapter 17, we have that scene after, Cloud beats Rufus, the helicopter shoots at him, and he falls and has to hold on to deal life, otherwise he'll fall and die. That specific scene was actually recommended by Kitase himself. Tifa then shows up, saves Cloud, and the reason why Kitase wanted to add this scene is because he wanted it to be a callback to when Tifa saw Cloud, fall after, the fight against the Airbuster. She wanted to make sure that, Cloud doesn't fall again in front of her, and that was a really cool idea. I thought that was a really fun idea. It was a really great idea, and it created a really good scene between the two of them. I know a lot of Cloudy shippers were very happy with that scene. The fact that it's in means that everyone else liked it as well. So he has had good ideas for the remake project. However, this specific scene that he talked about, how he wanted to either cut it or alter it, made some people very angry. So to put it to what exactly he wanted to cut, there is going to be a specific scene in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that will focus on basically Barrett's backstory. Barrett will have his flashback. What happened to Barrett? Why is he so angry at Shinra? Why does he have a gun for an arm? We'll learn more about Marlene and stuff like that. And that is a very emotional backstory in the original. It's very emotional. It gives Barrett such great character development, and it just makes us love Barrett even more. Really plays on to this whole idea that a lot of these characters are facing a lot of tragedy, a lot of tragic, backstories about loss. And Barrett's is one of the biggest and one of the more emotional ones regarding loss. So it's a very good scene. It's a very good flashback, and the aftermath about what happens between the characters that are involved in Barrett's, life story comes to a conclusion in the original game during, while Cloud and everyone is adventuring into the world. Here's the thing. Kitase apparently was surprised when Kazushige Nojima, the scenario writer, drafted a certain scene between Barrett and a character named Dyne. For those who know, is a very important character to Barrett and very important character to Marlene. For some strange reason, Kitase was surprised that scene made it into the final cut. He wasn't expecting that scene, or he wanted to alter it or change it or something like that. For reasons I do not understand, I tried to find out anything more from that interview about why he wanted to change this very specific scene, but there was nothing. The scene is basically in the Coral Prison where Barrett and Dyne go face to face with each other. That's the scene I believe he's referring to, because that is a scene that happens during, the present time for the cast. It's a scene where, you know, Barrett and Dine fight each other. It's such an important scene because it's basically a conclusion. It provides a conclusion for Barrett. And, you know, it's such a great scene. And for some reason, Kitase wanted to alter it or change it. Now, all of this could literally be a mistranslation. It could have just been worded weirdly to, you know, get some rise out of people. And for all we know, Kitase probably only thought that maybe he wasn't expecting that, you know, Coral prison scene to actually be, you know, in the final draft. When the scenario writer came to him about it, he was probably shocked. He probably thought it would either be cut or altered in some sort of way. But maybe he was just surprised it actually got to the final cut. And I guess he just, you know, wasn't expecting it. It's all possible that's what he thought, and this is all just a mistranslation. Now, we don't know what kind or how he was going to alter it. The idea to cut it, I thought was that was not really a smart idea, but altering it might have done a few things. Maybe they have altered it in some sort of way to make it a little bit better, because they did say they want to put more emphasis on like some of the minor characters in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, you know, fine by me. Look what happened with Jesse, Wedge, and Biggs. They made them so much better as characters, you know. So I'm not against, you know, them expanding more of the minor characters, but I just don't understand why Kitase wanted to get rid of the Coral prison scene. It's very impactful. It's a very emotional scene that, like I said, concludes Barrett's, you know, entire story about loss. Well, not fully, you know, closing it, because, you know, there's still a lot more adventure going on, but it closes his chapter of his kind of like why he's doing what he's doing. And then adventuring up to help Cloud and go to, you know, save the planet like he always wanted. But apparently, Nomura and Hamaguchi-san, they had to persuade him. They got the scene in, and apparently, according to him now, it's amazing, it's cry-worthy, and he's glad that's in there. I just really want to talk about it because it's such a weird thing to think about, cutting a very impactful scene like that. I understand if it was a scene that doesn't necessarily, you know, have a lot of importance to the story or about their adventure or about, you know, certain characters, you know, life and all that. But this was very important. It needed to be there. It had to be there. You couldn't really cut it or alter it. So I'm happy that's in there. Who knows what the altered version would have been? I don't know. I don't know what it would have been. But it's just baffling that Kitase can have really good ideas and then possibly have very bad ideas, and this was one of them. I'm glad, you know, he was persuaded and that they did put that scene in, so I'm excited for it. I can't wait to experience HD. It's really emotional. I felt the emotion that Barrett felt during that whole thing. It's so good. So hopefully it's as good. Hopefully it does bring a tear to my eyes, because it's really such an emotional story between Barrett and Dine and Marlene and all those characters involved. So thankfully that's going to be the case, but I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was a very interesting thing that Kitase said. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you want to see more Final Fantasy VII content. And thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.